Thanks for coming today. I want to go ahead and get started. I have a few short announcements before John gets going. There is the International Trade Council in Kansas City is doing a panel discussion on doing business in Central and Eastern Europe. That's going to be tomorrow. It's in Kansas City, downtown Kansas City, and I've sent out several different announcements about it. If you have any interest in it, there's a flyer over here on the side. And then also our deadline for FLAS is tomorrow as well, due by 5 p.m. all the recommendations and application materials. And then also I just learned yesterday that Laura Dean has been active in putting together a panel, actually a presentation that's going to be happening at 6 p.m. on Thursday in the Kansas Union, and that's on ending human trafficking. So Governor Brownbag is going to be speaking if you're interested in that. It's at 6 p.m. So our speaker today is Jon Giullian, and we've sort of made it a practice every semester to have John come in and sort of update us about what new things are going on in the library. So today he's talking about the Stalin Digital Archive and the new country and news profiles. So.
Thanks. Thanks, Bart, for letting me come and talk to you a little bit. Kind of got the grad student corner over here. Do you want to come over and sit in these nice soft seats, fill in, so I don't have to like strain my neck? Yeah, please come fill in. So I've sat in this seat and I know how uncomfortable they are. So, yeah, come on over. Okay, so today I'll be introducing the Stalin Digital Archive, and plus I'm going to show a few resources on news and country profiles that some you may be aware of, some you may not be, but I want to highlight them because, well, as we review our database subscriptions, sometimes certain things come up on the chopping block because we often have to cut things. And so I want to highlight these because they're really important, they're very useful, and if you're not aware of them, I think they can be particularly fortuitous as you work on various projects. So the first thing I want to introduce is the Stalin Digital Archive. It's a collaborative project between the Russian State Archive of Social and Political History, or GOSPI, and Yale University Press. Let me just kind of move this along. So this archive consists of kind of two collections of documents. One are GOSPI documents, actually archival documents, and the other are the Annals of Communism series. These are a series of books produced or published by Yale University Press. And then the archive, this archive also offers some advanced search and browse functionality, as well as really kind of a personalized workspace where you can save things, you can annotate things, you can share things. So it's kind of a hybrid, not just a database for searching, but a database for working too. It's currently just in beta form, and there are a few of us that have been requested, access to be able to provide feedback. And so I was lucky enough to just sign up, and so I'm able to get in and work with a little bit. For those of you who went to the ACES meeting in November, did anyone go to the Association for Stockholm for Asian Studies? Well, Yale University Press was there, and they did a little presentation on this archive. It doesn't come out for public release until June, and they're still working on the pricing model for that. But I wanted to give you a heads up to get you excited about it, and garner support to be able to fund it. So let's see what we can do. Let me just read a little bit about it before I get into it. The Russian State Archive of Social and Political History collection contains significant new material relating to many aspects of the dictator's political life, and this deserves further study. The archive includes documents related to foreign policy with Germany before World War II, Stalin's communications with the head of the NKVD, Nikolai Yezhov, during the Great Purges, and his directives to the Politburo after World War II, which outlines his strategies for dealing with the New World Order. It also includes his relations with Western intellectuals and political leaders, and his private notations concerning Lenin, Trotsky, Bukharin, and other Soviet leaders. The complete wartime correspondence between Stalin and President Franklin Delano Roosevelt is in the archive, as are Stalin's letters to and from intellectuals in America, England, France, Germany, and Italy. So these are, as you can see, some of the categories of things you'll find in there. Now, the archive is font number 558, which consists of approximately 40,000 documents, and the Yale University Press has chosen to digitize documents pertinent to Stalin's personal biography, his work in government, and his conduct in foreign affairs, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. So the OPIS that have been digitized are OPIS Pierre, which is documents written by Stalin from 1889-1952. Opus Vtoroi, which is documents written by Stalin from 1911-44. The Tretий Opus, which is over 300 books from Stalin's personal library with his marginal notes. It's interesting, you'll see a lot of his marginal notes on letters and things are in this bright red pencil. So it's interesting. Interface with advanced search and browse functionality, which I mentioned before, and I also mentioned that its platform has been designed to facilitate individual as well as collaborative research and communication. So we'll get into it in a minute, but let me just mention that the archive allows users to compare specific documents side by side, save searches and documents into personal libraries, define their own tags. So this high level of personalization, I guess, is kind of complemented by the ability for multiple users to join a community of like-minded scholars, accessible through the archive. So as part of this community, users can take part in discussion groups within the software, and they can share their annotations and tagging systems with their colleagues. So it's really kind of a cool thing coming out, especially if you're a Stalin scholar or your research in any way touches on his works, whether that in his life. Now, let me just say something about the annals of communism. So it includes these fully digitized transcription of books in Gale's acclaimed Annals of Communism series. These volumes include translations of several hundred primary source documents, many of which will be digitized as part of the Stalin archive material. So what they've done is they've taken the documents that are included in all these books and digitized those also and put them within the archive. Okay, so, and a lot of those are translations, most of those. So they say that this will allow for linking between translations and images, as well as, I believe, they'll have transcriptions too. So a lot of the documents are difficult to read, as you can imagine. They're handwritten. I was having trouble reading a number of them. Of course, some of them are written in old, handwritten script, right, with the old Stjordiznak and other letters that are not typical of modern Russian. So, so it'll facilitate side-by-side comparison of the English and Russian text. And one thing that will be very interesting is users will be able to actually contribute translations of the documents. So if you're working on something and you, and then people can comment or make suggestions on translation, on the translation too. So the archive now contains 25 volumes from this collection, and I've actually got a list of which ones they include, so you can take one of these and keep it. It's also on their website. Interesting, there's one here, I think it's Katina, Crime Without Punishment, which was edited by Nitin Chawla, so that one's in there. We'll actually take a look at that. Okay, and so finally, I talked a little bit about the advanced search and browse functionality, and you'll see that in a little bit. Okay. All right, let's go into it. And let me just show this real quick. This is kind of a introduction to it. It says the Stalin Digital Archive is the result of years of collaboration between Yale and the Russian State Archive. Political, social, and political history, and that's the slideshow here. Here you can see some compared documents. So here you've got the image view, and then you've got the transcription, and then there's also a tab here for translation. Okay. This is Stalin's letter to his protege, Soviet politician and diplomat Vyacheslav Molotov from December 1929. So you can see that the quality of it's quite good. And then here's a letter. And in this letter, Stalin thanks German dictator Adolf Hitler for signing the non-aggression treaty of 1939. It's quite an interesting document. And I wasn't able to figure out what that was referring to.
Yeah, Kabuto.
It must be.
Well, wait a minute,
We'll take a look at it in a minute. We'll see it in greater detail. We'll be able to. Okay, so this talks about the annals and second images. This image is from Piggy, Fox, and the Sword of Revolution, which includes Soviet leaders' sketches of themselves and others.
Wait, so who drew that?
I don't know. We can go in and take a look at it and see. So that's just an announcement about it. This is what it looks like inside it. Okay. And when you first open it, or when you will be able to first open it, when we subscribe to it, it opens up to this most viewed 50 icons. Okay. This is basically what they showed at the ACs.
Oh, can you letter from Gorky to Stalin? At the very bottom?
Yes. So you can browse different things. This first one here, you can see the letter. I'll browse that in a minute. You can see the letter from Stalin to Hitler. So if you highlight the row, you see that the bibliographic information is displayed in the right column. So you've got Vida Comenta, it's a pismo, Geografia is and you've got imena, so the names, Ribbentrop, Blochine, and describes it. So if you click on the open button, you'll be able to open it.
It's Le Molotov. Bottom left corner. Oh, sorry, top left corner. Le Molotov.
Oh, is that what it said?
It's for Molotov. I copied for Molotov.
Did it say that on the Google, or did you?
Top left.
Yeah, yeah. So you can increase the size. And you can go over to where it is. So if you want to view it a little closer, you have more with it like this. You can refresh here back to the original size. Quite interesting. Now, so that's the image view. This is this will be the transcription view when there's a transcription of it. So if something's not particularly readable, luckily it's readable here. The Russian is actually quite readable. In a lot of handwritten things they're not. This view provides a split screen for transcription and translation when it appears. And then here you've got kind of a tab, transcription and translation. Now, in this view, you'll be able to tag things with this, or bookmark them here. You'll be able to add your own tags. You'll be able to annotate something. So you select a text within the transcription, and then you type something in it. And then you'll also be able to highlight certain text. So you wanted to go to the letter from Gorky. Now, the things in English here are from the Annals of Communism. Okay, so the documents in English come from there. The ones in Russian come from the actual Rogatsky archive. Okay. So there it is.
So somebody translated that?
Well, no, I mean someone translated it. It would appear in one of the books,
Okay.
and they're just pulling it out of the book and putting it in this digital form. I wonder if I can highlight something. So there you can see I can highlight it. I can put in an annotation for it.
that's kind of cool.
I previewed that column. Let me click on,
If I click on all AOC volumes, the Annals of Communism volumes, so you can either look at, you can browse them through individual volumes, and you can click on the volume that was edited by Professor Chinchilla.
open that up.
Can we see the list of the 300 books that he had marginalia on?
I don't know if that's in there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, this is the whole book. I wonder if she has the images in there. So it's kind of neat. You know, as I mentioned, you can go through and
Do your highlighting, and then you can save it to your own workspace.
let me just briefly show you the workspace. This is the workspace. So they have discussion boards here. You can have your personal folders and public folders. You can set your profile. It'll parse out your annotations, your tags, and save searches. So this is really the workspace that you have access to. It really is kind of a research workspace. If I go down here to Form 558,
That will get me to all of the Russian documents, okay, which of course don't include the English content.
if I click on, let's see, first one, there's open the first one. I just want to show you a letter from Stalin to Lenin. I'm finding it right away. So,
Can you do a search?
Or can you
Yeah.
click at the headings with author and recipient and sort, or is that not built in?
yes, you can sort. I'm not sure it appears, recipient. Sometimes it doesn't appear in the recipient column, it just mentions it in the title.
Anyway, I think I'll go on to do a search. I'll just do one search that might be interesting. And
But before I do that, I do want to point out these categories on the left.
so it has a category for names if you have a certain person that you're looking for within the archive. Any suggestions? You want to look someone up?
Gorky?
Okay.
Like that for the
Or would
research.
it be Fishman?
I was just into his Gorky. There it is. They're 18. Right, go down a little bit. Right there.
Oh, there it is. Gorky. So 18 documents that have reference to Gorky. You can sort them by date. And most of these are
From the Annals of Communism, these are already been translated.
You've got a timeline here. So for example, you can click on,
And then there's letter from Gorky to Lenin. You get this lower.
This one?
Yeah.
oh yeah. So we could look to see what he said on that date. In the timeline, you could look at various periods, the first Russian Revolution, between the revolutions and the reaction. If we go into Revolution and the Civil War, you can see you can also save to your My Documents section. You can export the citation for citing in your paper. You can open not just one document, but you can select each one and open them all together. You also have these subject categories. For example, Vidocumento, if you're just looking at letters.
John, can you, so can you go back? If you could, wait just one second. Can you go back?
Sure. Let me just, so if I'm looking for, Guacamole, so there are 201 letters
In the current,
in the archive. Yes, did you want to see
There
something?
was a telegram to Levin that's very interesting and frozen. How would that be? I'm sorry, I have to know.
So let me go to you won't be able to get into it. I don't know whether you'll be able to get into it. You
It was on the previous screen.
maybe do?
Levin, and it was letter to Levin.
There it is, there it is.
Maybe. Dimitri Zakharich?
Yeah. It was a coded telegram. I think I know what it's about. It's interesting.
Let me increase the size of this. You want to explain it? Talk about it for a minute?
What's the date?
February 7th, 1923.
23.
Yeah.
It's a planned assassination of the main person who would be the president in the future in Guatemala, and that's a coded telegram.
So-
Very interesting.
Yeah, so there, some fascinating stuff. So you could actually then tag this as coded telegram. If we go to this view, for example, and then you could highlight it and you could annotate exactly what this is, what it refers to, what happened. You could talk. So you see how it's really, this collaborative tool that multiple people can benefit from. It's kind of like mini Wikipedia, right, for a specific topic. Or you hope that people are going into it, making sort of stuff. I suppose there's a possibility of use, but okay. So let me do a search here. You can search for keywords in the main field, or I want to open up these advanced terms, advanced fields. I think what I want to do is I want to just do a search by date. There are a number of things that you could add here. Sometimes if you're too specific you get nothing, but what I want to do is just do 1939. So I click 39, add it to the filter, search here. And then as we sorted by date already, but, let me go to page 2. Sorted by date, go to page 2. You can see, in addition to the letter that Stalin sent to Hitler on August 21st, 1921. So we could view that letter. Also, a couple days after, there's a translated document, non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union. So actually, the text of the pact looks like. And then there's a secret supplementary protocol to the non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union. So you can kind of survey us, get a cross-section of certain dates and what was going on, which is Do you have any questions about the archive? Is there anything in particular that struck you? Anything you wanted to see? Anyway, I want you to get excited about it. I'm not sure, you won't be able to get into the MySDA section, but you may be able to go to their website and browse certain documents. I'm not sure how much access they provide. You have to sign up for a username or something. But it's coming in June. So hopefully in
Do you
June.
have a price on it?
No, they're still working out the pricing model. I think it's going to be expensive. I'm sure it'll be over $10,000 for a KU license, site license.
And how long does the site license last?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be a subscription model or whether it's going to be a one-time purchase model. I have no idea.
And, do you know
I
how
would
this
think
is
it
all
would be a
been-
subscription model because content will be continually added, especially. I don't know. It might run at $20,000 because it's more than just buying a database, right?
So, and,
A lot of value added in the functionality.
there's a lot of, I know what I wanted to ask you. How is it supported? What grants support this thing?
I don't know whether any grants support it. I'm not sure. I'm sure if you went on the Yale site, it would provide some description. They have a number of donors, I believe. A long list of donors. But I'm not sure whether there were specific grants they applied for it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I know they do have a list of thank yous to certain organizations. I know that Mellon Foundation, they were mentioned, and another foundation, and then some other small foundations. So they must have provided some startup funds or development funds, but I don't know if they specifically.
Which ones they applied for?
Do you know who was behind this at Yale?
It's the press, the
Just
university
the press.
So Jonathan Brent,
Jonathan Brandt.
Yeah, I mean, if he's the.
who used to be there.
We've been waiting for it for a while, and it's kind of fell under the radar. We didn't know what was happening to it. A couple of years ago, we heard that it was happening, and then it just kind of disappeared, and then finally they said, okay, it's ready. We're almost ready, I guess.
Now, is there also a digital archive on the Cold War that's in process, do you know?
I don't know of anything in particular.
Jack Matlock was talking about this at the conference in November.
Did he mention a specific product?
I can't remember right.
Well, let me make a note, and I'll see if I can find something. I wouldn't be surprised. Seems to me I vaguely remember something about Cold War documents, but I don't, remember anything.
Matlock is the former ambassador of the United States to Russia, as you know. And that's the kind of people Professor Sohm deals with.
Well,
Any
he's
other
an old
questions?
friend, so.
Okay.
Let me turn now to various. So I want to review these
These four databases. A couple are country profiles, Europa World Plus, and Political Handbook of the World. Have any of you used these? Not at all? Okay. They're particularly useful in undergraduate classes when when a student wants to work on a country. Oh, I want to write my paper on this country or that country, or maybe elections in this country or that country, or maybe immigration or something. They're extremely useful for giving them a detailed overview of the country, various issues that are pretty pertinent in that country. Also, I want to talk about policy file. There are lots of policy documents included in there, and World News Connection. Okay. So I'll talk about each one and just kind of briefly show you. We won't really get into them much. Maybe do one quick search in each one. So you could. So we have, you can get there on the A to Z list, the database A to Z list, or we've also got them in our guides. This is our homepage. And then the overarching guide to Slavic and Eurasian studies is the first one on the left of this guide. So you'll find them also under regions and countries, this tab here. There's a box for country profiles here. And I don't have policy file listed. So if we go into Europa, this is one of the best kind of general overviews of countries. This is the online version of the print publication, so it does appear in print. You see, you've got these several breakdowns. This breakdown of several regions. They actually divide our Slavic and Eurasian regions into two regions. We've got Eastern Europe and Russia, and Central and Southeastern Europe. Let me go into Central and Southeastern Europe for a moment. So they've got a nice long, well, this isn't so long. They've got this nice basic overview, and then, of course, they list each country, and then each country will have a quite extensive description. What I want to do is go into the Czech Republic. So in addition to basic facts, some statistics, directories, I want to highlight the chronology.
How often does that, do the statistics get updated? This is just for 2000.
I think volumes come out every year. The print volumes I know come out.
But they
So I
lag
think
like 3 years or so.
Yeah, I don't know how often the statistics get updated. I just don't know. So if you go into the chronology, you want to look at the events that transpired in 1989 in the Czech Republic. You can do that, get an idea of major milestones during that time. So from May 1st, October, November, several events in November, until, let's see. A large January 16th, 89, Václav Havel and 13 other dissidents were arrested. Okay, May 1989, we had May Day rally. November, a student demonstration. Okay, and then in November 24th, General Secretary of the KSČ and all other members of the Presidium Secretariat resigned. Karl Urbanek was elected leader. Alexander Dubček returned to Prague and spoke to a large crowd in Wenceslas Square. The civic reform was officially registered on the 28th of November. Adamec resigned as Prime Minister, replaced by Marian Chalfa. 3 days later, he announced a new federal government, and Husak resigned as president. And then in December, the following day, it elected Václav Havel president of Czechoslovakia. So if you need to, check events, you want to, if that's pertinent to what you're doing, and each country has chronology like this. I encourage you to explore this for the region that you're working on. Okay. Let me move to Political Handbook of the World. Oh, that one's not. Now, Political Handbook of the World is actually in the CQ electronic let's see, electronic library, and it's here, Political Handbook of the World. It's also in the catalog. You can get to it. So you can use the left-hand navigation, or you can go directly to the map. Political Handbook of the World gives detailed information on government and political history, historical trends, regime changes, constitutional history, regional and global policy issues, headline-making events, trends and controversies, political parties and organizations, and that's one of the things I want to show is that it provides extremely detailed information about political parties, and it seems fairly up to date from what I looked at yesterday. Leading minor parties, quasi-partisan and extra-systematic organizations, alliances, party histories, ideology, leadership. It includes legislatures and cabinets, recent national election results. So let me just browse by region here. We'll go into Central and Eastern Europe. And I do want to click on Russia here. And I want to actually look at political parties and groups, given the recent controversies in elections and things that are going on. Some of us may need to refer back and figure out what these parties actually refer to. So here you've got some vetted information about political parties and groups. They mentioned, so there's the president, there's United Russia, long description. You've got Communist Party, Liberal Democratic, LDR, Zhirinovsky's party, Just Russia, the Motherland, the Pensioners' Life. Okay. And it does give the Russian equivalent in transliteration. So other parties, so it mentions Yabloko, Union of Right Forces, Patriots of Russia, and down lower, Right Cause. And then here it mentions significant parties dissolved or denied registration. That's an interesting category. So Great Russia, Great Russian Union, Liberal Russia, People's Union, and see how many have been denied. And then it lists the cabinet members. So if you're looking to find out who's in the president's cabinet. So just a wealth of reference data. And this is, like as I mentioned, this is particularly useful at undergraduate level, which you're not at, but when you're just exploring topics or trying to gather some facts. Do you have any questions about this?
I just wanted to mention something that I just discovered today, working on a database of American newspapers. I'm working on Russia and the American Civil War. And we have the database digital resources are for the New York Times, the New York Tribune, and the Washington Post for the Civil War period.
The Chicago Tribune?
The Chicago Tribune too, yes. But I was doing the Tribune, New York Tribune, because of the edited by Horace Greeley for one thing, and he had a lot of connections with Russians in America and Americans in Russia. And I pulled up, and this is April 1861, and Washington is about to be occupied, they thought, by a Confederate army. And so all the legations in Washington, embassies and so on, raised their national flag as a protective measure against being occupied by the Confederate army. except the Russian legation raised the American flag. How's that for trivia?
Interesting. Fascinating. Thank you for sharing.
And then it was known as non-aggression pact.
Russia's flag is in America.
Thank you.
The Russian minister's flag was the
Let me go into policy
American
file.
North.
Policy file is, it's not something you typically think about when someone first starts their research, but what's great about policy file is that it offers access to U.S. foreign and domestic policy papers and gray literature. It's updated weekly with abstracts and links to the latest reports from think tanks and other organizations like that, research institutes and agencies. Sometimes we tend to forget about that when we go to the databases of scholarly journals, etc. So let me just go in here, and I want to point out someone was working on a conflict resolution in Nagorno-Karabakh a few years ago. So I put in the keyword Karabakh, and if I go to the subject list here, which I want to point out, there is a category for conflict resolution.